everybody. This is Vince Miller. Thanks so much for joining me for this devotional. Today we're in Acts chapter 23. I'm going to read verses 6 through 10. Here's what it says. Now, when Paul perceived that one part were Sadducees and the other Pharisees, he cried out in the council, "Brothers, I'm a Pharisee, a son of Pharisees. It is with respect to the hope of the resurrection of the dead that I am on trial." And when he had said this, a dissension arose between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the assembly was divided. For the Sadducees say there is no resurrection, nor angel, nor spirit, but the Pharisees acknowledge them all. Then a great clamor arose, and some of the scribes of the Pharisees' party stood up and contended sharply. "We find nothing wrong with this man. What if a spirit or an angel spoke to him?" And when the dissension became violent, the tribune, afraid that Paul would be torn into pieces by them, commanded the soldiers to go down and to take him away from among them by force and bring him in to the barracks. So from the start of Acts, we said that the resurrection of Jesus is the central message and concern of this book. And that rings true here. Again, Paul understands a couple of things. First, he understands that the reason he's in this situation was that he was proclaiming the resurrection from the dead. Second, he also understands that there's this long-standing division on the High Council about this matter. At present, the High Council is divided into two camps. Camp 1 represented those who rejected the resurrection. They're called Sadducees. Camp 2 represented those who accept the resurrection. We call those people Pharisees. And thus, by presenting this issue, he lets the council fight with themselves rather than with him. Now, you have to admit, this was a pretty cunning move by Paul, because the primary reason for the trial actually wasn't the resurrection. The primary reason for the trial was concern that Paul brought a Gentile into an off-limits area of the temple. But this never gets any mention. They're so distracted by the hotly debated issue of the resurrection that the instigating matter is never discussed. And they don't even touch the most divisive issue on the table. It's the specific belief that Paul proclaimed that Jesus was the Messiah, raised from the dead. What they ended up arguing about is the general bodily resurrection from the dead, not Jesus raised from the dead. This is all laughable, right? The only takeaway I see here is this. Sometimes it's okay to let people who want to argue with themselves. Just let them argue over the issues of relevance to them and honestly just get out of the way. You know, I think we're watching this happen right before our eyes today. If you want to put this to the test, do this. Tonight, turn on CNN for 1 hour, and then for the next hour, turn on Fox News and see what they're doing. All they're doing is arguing with one another at our expense. You know what I think Paul would say about this matter if he were watching today? He might say something like this. Let them argue with themselves. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go live out the calling that Jesus gave to me and present the gospel to those who are lost. So today, concern yourself with issues that matter and let God address everything else. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, leave a comment for me below, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.